See you, love. I feel like I'm being stood up for the prom. I guess I'll open this box by myself. Don't cut the book, son. Oh, yes. Oh, B. Embossed lettering, quotes on the front, handsome devil on the back. Look at that. First book. So 1,812 very likeable people have bought my book, pre-sales, and it requires my signature in it. It requires a signature in the front cover. I thought, why don't I sex up the idea of just doing a book signing rather than just jump in the car and go and sign a bunch of books, stay in a cheap motel and drive home? Why don't I make a backyard adventure out of signing the Backyard Adventurer? That's a case of irony, isn't it? Is that Alanis Morissette? That's irony. No, it's just good synergy. It's just good. It's just a bloody good idea, Beau. Get on with it.
Before I begin, let me be clear, as my great flaw is impatience.
Any excuse to tuck my pants into my socks.
This is not a guidebook for the good life, nor will I preach about the importance of challenge and epiphanies, hardship and breakthroughs.
By the way, that light doesn't work. I've tested it, and that's why I got you the other light.
Backyard adventuring is about concocting meaningful events and experiments that challenge me.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it wasn't doing that before.
Quite simply, this book is a set of stories told by a red-headed bloke who has redefined his sense of adventure.
A pannier that I found on the side of the road, and then Mum's old seat. The front brakes don't work.
Glasses.
Glasses, you can hold them. Good job. You should be a professional glass fitter. Bye, darling. Bye, family. Bye.
I stumbled into early adulthood with an overpowering sense of entitlement to be somewhere else, adventuring, drinking, socialising. My instincts were to do things cheaply in backwaters, setting off with ad hoc gear following a vague itinerary based on cheap flights and cheap places to sleep.
Really quite an exciting prospect of signing so many books. Making something that's a bit of a chore and perhaps even mundane into something fun and a bit weird. Whew.
Many times I took to the road to see something new and inspired. That's what road trippers do. Set out to see someone else's sense of the ordinary.
Yeah, I was wondering on that whether I make a couple of cuts along my fingers and just give people a nice imprint. I think that's probably a little bit too intimate. Give people a bit of my DNA, chop a bit of hair off, a couple of eyelashes.
And in fact, I like train trips because of travelling this very line as a boy, going between city and country, between mum and dad. The line has been a consistent form of transportation in my life.
Is there going to be a moment where I think, this is ridiculous? Heck, I don't have a job. I need to earn money somehow.
I once ran from an adjacent town to catch an express train to Melbourne. Cutting it fine, I sprinted the last 100 metres to make it. It turns out I'd missed the Melbourne train and hopped on the train going in the direction I'd come from.
What that board tells me is that I've cocked up, and so I have to wait a few hours to get, hopefully, a bus.
Mate, you're a nut job, I heard conversationally, not loudly, from the close-by window of a slow-moving car. What an insightful thing to say, fella, you dick. I've tended to own my billowing hat, odd-socked ways for a good while now, and I don't realise things are off-kilter unless I stray too close to the highway or run through town.
So the bus terminal was fairly terminal. They're bloody good at making chairs that aren't comfortable. The printer opens in 7 hours. I then have 6.5 hours to make the 3 o'clock train to sign 2,000 books. So there it is. Massive industrial printer. But I think I'm just going to be Captain Obvious here and camp within hearing distance of the factory.
I've become well versed at sleeping in unnoticeable places, garnering the least interest from other sleepers, police, posties or anyone else who tends to see what others don't. An equally important part of the real estate choice was finding somewhere male drivers wouldn't pull over for a leak. I will be there at 5 to 8, saying, good morning, and where's this big stack of books? I think I've had about 5 hours rest. I'm going to put the billy on. In this period of my life, there's still an overriding question of why and what's next. Not just the annoying midlife religion of being present, but starting to emerge was my new understanding of both the insignificance and the great importance of my so-called adventures.
Let's go meet the front of house admin. Say, I'm Beau. My name's Beau. I know I smell like a fire, but that's because I made a brew up this morning while sleeping in your creek. Good morning. I'm here to sign a bunch of books. If you want to know what 2,000 copies looks like, it's that. A frickin' lot of books. So it's now 8:06. I have 2,000 books to sign. I'm starting to think fast, talk fast, get a bit nervous that I'm not going to get this done before the train.
I've often heard people say that taking a book on expedition distracts you from the place you're in. Sure it does, but I can't fathom how that's a bad thing. It just loads you up with more comparison points to think about the very place we find ourselves. Animation of words become an immensely satisfying story as the viewer of one scene and the thinker of another.
1 hour, 15 minutes, I'm killing it.
I started exploring new ways of thinking, questioning what to do, why, when to do it, and really, Beau, what's the bloody point to all this questioning?
I'm not going to lie, I am fatiguing.
What a bore. Go back to doing something, anything, silencing the self-talk while digging or cutting wood or wielding a hand slasher as though you're a medieval warrior. Either way, do something intense enough to stop thinking about anything other than what you're doing.
There needs to be a sense of fun in it, doesn't there? Thanks. Smiley face. Gum leaf. A bike. A kayak. I like tea.
Of any body part, I appreciate hands the most.
Pen number 2. Ran out of ink.
Eyes lie, legs run away, and while breasts are wonderful and practical, they're not really my thing.
I don't like this second pen. Hey! It's the same kind too. The Soft Feel, Bic, made in France. Boom!
I first properly noticed my hands when taking a photo of them. Actually, it was a photo of my right hand, taken with the left. I can't imagine life without my hands.
It's a bit like sea kayaking, this. You get to a stage where you talk to yourself, you don't really make sense. Beau Miles, X.
Day 3 without showering, in need of a haircut and shave. I was in fact on the comfortable side of an identity crisis, having come to terms with the fact that I was not the man I thought I was.
Well done. Congratulations.
I am flawed and oscillate between being mildly and intensely curious about our world. And that makes me and my newish, ongoing, close-to-home trips interesting.
It turns out there were only 1,600 books on the pallets when I entered the printer. By the time I found out, which was about an hour and a half before the train, I thought, man, this is a horrible backyard adventure. Beau, what have you done? How many did we end up doing, mate? 1,810? 1,812 books. It was intense, the wrong kind of intense. But what it did do, it meant I spent a night in a dry creek bed. Sitting there drinking coffee, eating my bread and banana and finishing wine off at 7 in the morning. I love that stuff. And so it served its purpose beautifully. You know, having this small backyard adventure while signing the book, which, by the way, has a lot of typos. It's not quite right. It's a bit like me, which I don't mind, actually. The book is a bit funky. But there is one clanger that is bad. There are 3 entire lines missing behind this photo on page 98. You can't see the lines, doesn't work like that. It's been lost in digital land. But We've left enough room for you at the top of chapter 3 to write these lines, so get your pens out.
Thanks, ladies, I say. I hope the next bloke who walks through the door has better blood. I smile as I walk into the dim light of day, knowing that my life-affirming activity has only made me less than human for a day or so. And I'm fine with that.
It's probably the best line I've ever written, and it was left out of the book.
You've been listening to The Backyard Adventurer, written and read by Beau Miles.
Now, I know you haven't read any of this, so just...
Flick through.
flick through. No, read it.
Oh, okay.
Don't be sitting here.
How long are we doing this for?
Until I get it right.
You got like a snippet?
Shh.